You're listening to Rotten and the Freeman Show podcast every week in your car and on YouTube.
Welcome, guys, to Rotten and the Freeman Show, where I am Freeman and he is...
I am Eddie Rotten. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, guys, to Rotten and the Freeman Show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in on Spotify audio or on YouTube in video or both.
Yes, sir.
On, for the car ride or for the chill time at night. We are Rotten and the Freeman Show. I don't know what tonight's topic is, but Rotten said he's got something, and I said, you know what?
I do.
I'm going in with no vision of what we're going to talk about or anything completely like that.
Blind.
So
it's completely blind. It's kind of like the rest of the nation is going in completely blind. We think we know exactly what's going on.
Where you at? Where'd you go?
There's a movie that came out recently, and it'll probably be on video, if not now, sometime really soon, called Civil War. And Civil War in Texas has kind of sparked this debate on who are we and what side are we actually rooting for. I know who you are and what background you have. You know me and my background. I've always been conflicted ever since, since I was a child on who stands a higher moral ground. But since this movie came out, I've kind of just been watching people on the lead up towards this next election. I kind of have a pick for myself on who I would like to win based on my family's situation, but that's not everybody's situation. So there's a news clip that I wanted you to listen to because recently Trump's been convicted. I don't know if he's going to do any time or community service or pick up garbage around the White House or whatever. But I have
34 accounts.
34 accounts he is convicted on. And that's no small shake there. So I have my own opinion. It's not shared by everybody. I have people in my family and a lot of my friends don't see things my way, but my way might be wrong. I don't know. I just know that the people that run the world have to do things and sacrifice things and do things that might seem morally outside of my compass, but they might need to do that based on things that I don't know about. So,
well, as for me, I'm an independent. I voted all over the map. I voted Republican, Democrat, Green Party. I voted Ross Perot.
Yeah.
But I'm not the biggest fan of Biden. I don't like all the high prices. Yeah, I can complain about both.
Yeah.
But for me, if Donald Trump was on a ballot with P. Diddy and Bill Cosby, I would vote Bill Cosby or P. Diddy over Trump. That's where I sit on that fence.
It's weird because it's geographically, it kind of depends on where you're at, who you're going to vote for based on how people influence you and how people influence the economy where you're at and stuff. And so I totally understand why people would vote a certain way because my argument against Trump is somebody's argument against Biden, or vice versa. And so I feel like from an umbrella kind of point of view, I can see both sides, but it's getting to a point to where if you don't have a side, it might be physically dangerous for you to not have a side because the nation is getting really upset and movies like Civil War are involuntarily stoking that fire. As here in Texas, I see people talk about it and argue about it, but I'm the last person to have a bumper sticker. I'm not going to promote either side because it's just not, I don't think it's safe to do. I'm not going to have a big sign in my front yard because I just don't trust the reaction. It's
political parties over the last 10 years have gotten crazy. It's like rock star status. I mean, used to who would dress like a president or it's just a whole different thing. The problem I have with politics now is not necessarily the candidates running, but it's the followers, the way they react. When honestly, when Trump was in office, I saw family members, friends, people I know, people I love say things that I just didn't approve of. You can't just go talk about those people and us and those people all the time. It's not a draw a line in the sand thing when it comes to race, when it comes to lifestyles. How are you supposed to
pick a side and stick with it because it's so dynamic, how are you supposed to?
And even I'll go and get this out. You've got a party that backs a lot of things. They back the military. They back police force. They back laws and the American way.
Right.
But it seems like over the last couple of years, they were crushing cops at the Capitol. So cops are shit. Yeah. And then, you've got now the FBI is no good. And now, and it's just because if anything's against Donald Trump, they just want to crush it. Now the court system is no good. The American way that we have things done, because somebody's committing crimes and being held accountable for it, they've lost faith in everything. And then, I saw this post. I've been seeing this post here lately since the verdict of the Trump thing. And I posted it yesterday. And it was just, I watch, I have complaints on all politics. I like Rage Against the Machine. There's just so much corruptness in government. But this picture kind of bothered me, and this is not the point. I just want to get this out there. But, everybody talks about Christian values and Donald Trump, and, he's sent from the heavens, and, he's just such a Christian man. And, he slept with a porn star when he had a little baby just being born and married. And, I don't know if you necessarily take Donald Trump's values to church and talk about it, because you go to church to avoid people like Donald Trump. But I've been seeing this post a lot lately since he was convicted of a crime, and it's right here, and it's been everywhere. I'm sure a lot of you seen it. You'll see a white screen.
Hard to see, yeah.
It says, Jesus was convicted in a shame trial and crucified, and I still followed him. So, what the
yeah.
I mean, it's now Jesus is going to be shamed because he was crucified, he died for our sins. So now they're like, well, Jesus was a criminal. So cops down, FBI down, Jesus down. I mean, where does it stop? I mean,
it doesn't.
It makes, and I've joked about this, but it's a serious note. It's a tribulation, man. I mean, is this a chapter of the Bible that, I've talked about this with you. It's hard to explain my thought on this, but like you take the Bible, right? And Christian values, and there's stories in the Bible, but not everything in the Bible is a story. Some things are projected, revelations, and you got tribulation, things like that. But sometimes I wonder, just with events in the past, say like the Holocaust and things like that, were there more chapters that should have went in the Bible of today's time? Is some of these stories biblical? But you see people wearing the mark of Donald Trump, speaking how they want to speak, shaming people, not caring, not anything. You could be handicapped, to a homosexual, to the color of your skin. And under Donald Trump, it seems like people speak their thoughts out in the open. And, as a white man, and you as a white man, I've been behind closed white doors, and I hear behind closed white doors what people say that I don't approve of.
Same.
And it's, I got the long hair, I got the beard, so it's nothing, honestly, for me to be in a corner and hear racist words.
But you got to check people. You got to remind them, hey, I don't.
Like the N word or like the F word for the gay community, and it's just, I had a gay father, and I backed him, I supported him. My kids, man, I support my kids no matter what path that they take when it comes to their life, their relationships, who they marry, who they have babies with.
Yeah.
I back them for them. And to see people talk hatred about, like the way my father was. My father didn't bother nobody. And it's if it was a choice, my dad always told me, he said, if you were not born gay, who would choose it? I don't get it. There's a lot of things I don't understand. Like I understand we need border control, but right now I got to tell you, if I was at the luck of the draw, if I was born on across a certain line, then these people over here that's nourishing their kids and feeding them, if my kids were starving, I would behead a man to feed my kids, much less walk across a line to where privileged people that were luckily born on that side of the line doesn't have to worry about food for their children.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's laws and there's right ways to come in. I'm not saying illegal immigrants. I'm just talking about the talk that I hear behind closed doors against other races.
Right.
And it's absurd.
I just don't want the flame to be fanned anymore. I want people to be okay with being on the right or on the left and deciding that that's what they choose. But to hate somebody and to hate friends and family for what they choose in their life, like I say it all the time too, we are a teeny tiny rock spinning out of control in the universe. And when this is all said and done, there's going to be another teeny tiny rock with issues. But if we can't figure out how to do this, the whole reason why I brought this up, man, and I don't mean to go on, but there's somebody that I like to watch. This is a movie star. He's done a lot of things in the past, and he showed up at this Trump trial. And tell me if you've heard this.
A stunning special guest appearance at the Trump trial. Robert De Niro showed up, sparking chaos.
Why come down? Why come down is a good question. I had to come down. Look what's going on. Look what's going on. You have to speak out.
He slammed the former president just as closing arguments were getting underway.
If Trump returns to the White House, you can kiss these freedoms goodbye.
So what do you think about that? Because there's people on the other side of the street saying if Biden gets reelected, then a lot of their freedoms are going to be kissed straight off into the sky. And I can understand what both sides are saying, but I personally have things that I have to protect, rights for my own personal family, for their preference and whatever they want to do, or for medicine or education. A lot of these things would go away or be voted out if Trump was reelected. Now, at the same time, military being sent over to Ukraine, that's a huge deal too, and I can understand why people are arguing that. It goes on a little bit deeper.
That we all take for granted.
De Niro's remarks enraged the Trump supporters gathered here outside court. They surrounded him as he was leaving, but De Niro did not back down from what turned into a very heated war of words.
You're nobody! You're trash!
You think by yelling and intimidating, you're not going to intimidate. That's what Trump does to try to intimidate. We are going to fight back.
You're washed up.
We're trying to do it more.
You see, I like what Robert De Niro is doing. He's nominated
for Academy Award. He's not washed up.
He's not washed up. And I like that people are...
They belittle you.
I like people are emotional about it, but it turns into hate really quick, man. And so, and I've said this before too, there's a difference between the horde mentality and just the mentality of fighting for what you agree with. Because once the horde mentality starts, then it doesn't matter what you believe in. You have to do what everybody else is doing. You got to fight for your life. And at any moment, if flames are stoked much more, it'll turn into like this freaking movie, Civil War. And I don't want that.
I read a lot of comments, and ever since he was convicted, it was just like, hopefully Jesus can bless him. One question I'd like to ask Trump supporters.
All right.
If he has such Christian values, sleeping with a porn star when he has a little baby and a kid, he should have been involved in a gangbang. I think that would put him a level above Jesus. I mean, it's ignorant to hear these people talk. I mean, what's the next? Hopefully Trump does it again, man. Hopefully he just screws the world and just maybe he'll start raping women. That'll put him up there. I mean, what are these people thinking?
Well, I don't know how much worse it could be. And at the same time, these are just the things that you and I know about. These are just the things that media has pushed out. And same thing with Biden, you know, sending stuff to Ukraine. These are just the things that we get to learn
I
about.
agree with people arguing about Biden, but you know what? I'm not a follower. I'm a man. I go out and I work 10 freaking jobs for my family.
Yeah.
Put food on the table. I don't put my faith in a politician, and I'm never going to put my faith in a politician. But you know what? If gas was $15 a gallon, I think it'd be worth not having some people in office. And
I agree.
You know, I went into work a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Trump. So I was like, you know, I get the high gas prices, but my co-host from the Zombie Show is paying what we pay for a gallon for a liter. People around all over the world has got high gas prices. Inflation's global.
Yeah,
it's not just us. Mm-hmm. And then they were all over there talking. I said, let me ask all you guys one thing. I said, we have fun debates. Let's talk about when Trump was in office. And they're like, all right, go for it. I was like, you guys were really proud of Dr. Fauci and the vaccines? I was like, that's Trump. And they're like, no, that's the liberals. I'm like, no. Fauci was on Trump's cabinet. The vaccines, pretty much, all that was under Donald Trump. And a lot of things that they don't like that was under Donald Trump, they kind of think that everybody forgets of what was going on.
Well, there's accountability.
And they blame that for liberals.
Yeah, there's
liberals
accountability.
Have nothing to do with that.
People have a hard time being held accountable for what they did believe in. The same thing goes with
Fauci, man. They brought Fauci in.
Anybody that runs in for politics, you know, on a local level, they do great. Like people that leave from Texas, they do really good until they get to Washington, and then everything flips around. It's like this huge machine, and it makes it hard for people that want to vote but can't, like me, because I want to be able to vote. Like I want to be able to put my faith behind it. I don't mind that there's ex-presidents that are on our dollar bills. I don't mind that we say one nation under God. All that's part of, you know, the human experience inside America. I would take that experience over any other experience, but it makes it hard to want to be a voter, you know, because right now it seems like an entertainment battlefield for people to just fight each other.
How did we end up with the same two people? Of all the people in the U.S.,
it makes you wonder,
Biden
right?
and Trump.
Right. How is that? I know that I have to.
It's pathetic.
The world that I live in, Sean, I have to make sure that my family's protected. I have to make sure that my morals and values are protected, and I have to put food on the table. And so anything that leads towards the economy, anything that leads towards letting people be free and doing what they need to do, this is how you hate the other side, and these are the reasons why. We want you to choose a side and stick with it. Make sure that you don't like the other people on the other side. But half of my family is on the other side, so I can't how do you justify doing it? It's confusing.
It's hard, man. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, it just pushed me over the line the other day comparing Trump to Jesus on his crucifixion. It's ignorant. And then you're always hearing values of lifestyles and this, that, and the other. And I'm Christian, but the Trump supporters always say, well, this is against the Bible. This is against the Bible. That's against the Bible. It's not Christian. It's not Christian. It's not Christian. If you want to start off banning something, ban divorce, because you give the word to God whenever you get married. And divorce should be the first thing that's banned that you should be supportive of. Mm-hmm. Don't break the word of God.
As a Christian.
I mean, you give your word to God whenever you take vows to your wife and then you divorce her. You break those words. Whenever I got married, the Reverend, me and Freeman Mom, we were together 9 years before we've been together 31 years. The one question that the Reverend asked me, and I knew this guy. The one question that he asked me to do my wedding was, have you ever been divorced? He said, because that's breaking the word of God and I just won't be there for this. He said, I will recommend somebody very, very good. And that was it. And it made me think, I was like, that's pretty powerful, but everything's biblical and Christian But now you're comparing God to Trump. Like you were not shameful for backing Jesus. Why should we be shameful for backing somebody sleeping with porn stars and getting charged 34 convictions? 34 convictions.
I don't know.
It's absurd. It's pathetic.
So where is redemption though for the
Everybody's
nation?
worried about what everybody else is doing. Yeah. My father was gay. He didn't bother nobody, dude. He lived a happy life, dude. They were happy. They done gardening. He worked hard his whole life. But because some ignorant Southerner doesn't approve of something that has nothing to do with them, you feel like you got to voice your opinion of hate.
Yeah.
But something that doesn't even involve you. And you probably, I'd like to know your skeletons in the closet. Have you been divorced? People that's complaining. Because, a lot of gay people are happy and stay married.
Yeah.
It's just absurd.
I have
the hate speech is.
It's out of control. It's
out of control. It's going to be worse. If he wins, dude, people are going to think that we're back in the 20s to the 60s, man.
Well, is there an escape to it? So if he wins, there's people that are saying there's going to be an uprising. If he loses, there's people that say that there's going to be an uprising. How is there salvation or redemption as a nation if all we want to do is stay programmed as a people that want to fight each other?
Right. I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. In our downtown is like the Global Civil Rights Museum. It's the headquarters of civil rights.
Yeah.
There are riots here. But the Civil Rights Museum is in the Woolworth. It's on Elm Street. I'll take pictures of it. We get by it all the time. But it's where they did the sit-in. So I work with some African Americans, Big Daddy, Vic, 73 years old. I asked him, and he's happily working. It's keeping him alive. It's routine. But I asked him, I said, Vic, why did you sit, why did you not sit at the counter? I mean, why did it take these 4 people to do it? I was like, I just don't get it. And he said, and anytime I bring up this stuff, he really doesn't want to talk about it. I mean, it's still burned into his soul.
Super personal too,
of the law. But I asked him, I was like, why did you listen to the white men back then? And he said, because my dad would wear my ass out. He said, you listen to them people and you do what they say. And it breaks my fucking heart, man. And this is somebody I work with that lived through this. I remember my dad told me, he's like, I remember going to the Woolworths, and he said, I remember the African Americans, were here, and, that's crazy, man. It's not that long ago, man. My dad's telling me these stories, and Vic at work's talking about it too. The Woolworth, and that's why they made it the headquarters, because that's where they actually did the sit-in, to where the 4 African American. Dude, I don't even like to call people black, man.
But what do you do?
I beg my wife all the time, make me a shirt that says I'm woke.
Yeah.
But
what are you supposed to do?
I try to respect people, man. I don't even like to say black people. I try to say African American, dude.
It depends on where you're at too. I think it's okay. If people
I think it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But for me, like me, man in the mirror, just trying to be.
If people
nice
know who you are, if people know who you are, and you don't come aggressively like media teaches us to do, if you come from a true heart and there's no animosity in there at all, you can't have it. You're not going to have any problems, but the way that the conditioning is set up is for us to hate each other and to continue racism and to continue the battery of the education healthcare system. We're not really being given the tools for success inside America, but they're there. We just can't. They're not given to us. And so it goes back to my convenience store mentality thing. If we don't literally go, and my wife is really good at this, anything that she sees, she'll go look it up and then go look up those sources and then go look up those sources to make sure that her belief structure is validated on facts and not from a whole bunch of BS. And people seem to be okay with just listening and running with the BS lately, and it's frightening.
Yeah, I put a post out a while back on social media because I like to poke the bear, and it's not even poking the bears; it's acknowledging ignorance. That's how I say it. It's acknowledging how ignorant people are. But I put out there, I was like, everybody you talk about racism when it comes to Trump supporters, and they're like, I just don't see it. Well, I'm behind the closed white doors. I hear it. People tell me it. I see the hate. I'm not asking you to acknowledge it. I'm telling you, I heard it and I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm not making it up. Just sick of it, man. And then if Donald Trump wins, man, people's going to think, I mean, they're the cock of the walk, man. I'm telling you. It's.
I hope it's hard to say what I think is going to happen, because in the end, God's not going to come back for no reason. We got to give him a good reason to come back. And so I know.
Well, thank God somebody's following him. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Sorry, sack of shit, man.
I hope that everything turns out the way that it's supposed to turn out. What the wisdom is given for us to turn things out, but at the same time, I don't want to have a shit life. I want to live with honor and respect, and I want people to do the same thing for each other. And it again brings me back to the beginning. It makes it hard to vote, man. It makes it hard for me to believe in my own structure. So
if you're a convicted felon and you can't even fucking vote for yourself, how are you even fucking running?
Can I do that?
I don't get it.
Can I do what he did?
No, man.
And be free?
If you're a convicted felon, you can't vote. He can't. He's one less vote he'll get. And like I said, people have opinions about me. I have opinions about, but I hear the stuff.
Yeah.
When it's just us white people around, and I hear the ignorance spoken, and I'll say it once again.
Yeah.
If my kids were starving and a government line was blocking my family from eating and health, I would be head of man for it. Much less walk across a fucking river to feed my family.
Right.
I work with a lot of people from south of the border, man, and it's the most genuine, lovable people ever. And I understand that there's bad people that come with it, but there's a lot of fucking ignorant people that's born here too.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Sorry, man, I had to vent.
I'm glad you did, man. It's just something that I think about sometimes. The what if, and now we got Robert De Niro, who I can't say that I look up to. I've never met him. What do I know?
Yeah.
But people that others look up to from Hollywood are coming out now and being pretty wide open about their decisions. And, are they going to argue with each other too? Are they going to ban each other from certain things? Are they going to not show up to do certain events or whatever because of their political beliefs? I don't know. I think it's an important thing to think about. Yeah.
And just for fun, if you're listening to this, and it's all about your life and your lifestyle and nobody else matters, put in the comments why you hate my dad because he's gay. Just put in the comments. I'd like to know. He was the best dad ever. I was raised by two dads. So let me know why you just fucking hate him. Sorry. I love our audience, but
I mean, it's valid and it's on point. I don't know.
They've never met him, but they hate everything about him. So
nobody has. We just have to regurgitate what we've been taught.
Yeah, and don't unsubscribe.
Social media or whatever. But and every dollar bill that we spend has a cross dresser on it, and we've talked about it.
Yeah, high heels, they're all wearing wigs and high heels, stockings, wigs. It all.
I mean, you can't hate them that bad. So we're all on the same team, same stone floating through the universe. But anyways,
I didn't even know what this topic was going to be about, but
I'm glad that you talked to me about it. I know that I'm kind of lost in the voting universe, and I would like to be swayed one day, or one way to kind of figure it out. But I don't even know what I would be considered. I'm just an anomaly of voters. but I'll get there.
I'm independent, dude. Yeah. I've voted. I voted for Obama once. I voted for Mitt Romney. I voted for Ross Perot. I never voted for a Clinton. I honestly, but I went to the Bush and Gore debates and shook Al Gore's hand as a sitting vice president, him and Tipper. Yeah. It was at Wake Forest University. Me and my mommy lucked up and got tickets.
Wow.
But I've seen Bush speeches. That we have seen Donald Trump. We have seen, and then you got, I ain't even gonna go there.
It's hard to swallow. It's like, how do you get behind anything if a president has been convicted of that and rerun and possibly re-win, you know?
Can't even vote for himself. He's banned from voting.
Yeah, but he can win. You know, he could still run.
Like I said, you want to talk about Biden topics? I can agree with you all day long.
Yeah, I'd love
so
to.
Much.
I'd love to. And honestly, I'm not educated enough on the political field to be able to give you know, real information about it. I just know the hate that's going on between the two sides, and it's hard for me to watch.
Yeah,
so but
there's hating people that they don't know. It doesn't affect them. It's somebody struggling has an abortion, man. It's a very private thing. I mean, people just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
The one thing that I do like, and thank you guys for listening, is Rage Against the Machine, Fistful of Steel. The Fistful of Steel is a microphone. Have a voice.
Yeah.
You know, don't hate me for saying what I said, but I don't understand how you can be such a criminal, convicted, then they compare you to Jesus about saying, well, he's not as bad as Jesus.
Teach us. Let me know what I'm thinking wrong, you know. Educate me on why I think that that's such an odd, weird thing to do, why one person can do it and I can't do it. Not that I would.
What extreme would you go to feed your family? I love all you guys. Just love one another.
You love one another.
Every single gig I do, whether it be in the Coliseum, a school, wherever I DJ, I'll always end with this. Listen to this song. It's the best advice I can give you. Your parents should play you this song every single day. But remember this time as DJ Freeman is playing to you, Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. And I play it, dude. And I give a speech. And I end everyone like that. I said, you know, you can, and I stress out, you can't hug your parents enough. You can hug your parents to infinity times 10. And it's not enough. Love everybody. Freeman loves you.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next week.
I don't know how to go out there. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
That's all good. We'll take it. We'll take what we can get. Love you guys.
Love you.
You're listening to Rotten and the Freeman Show podcast every week in your car and on YouTube.